I wanted to get a good like aero piece, spend the cash. Sure. So I bought a StreetHunter carbon fiber wing. That thing fit like fucking ass. It was shit. Holy fuck, TJ. The fuck are you doing? Shit, I had to have Gels 3D print a shim for my blade so that it would meet up correctly. Yeah. It looks great. I love how it looks, but my God, the thing was, everyone on the Supra forums is saying, buy the replica. Buy the replica. I've never seen reps supported so much. Welcome back to another episode of the MartiniWorks podcast, aka the M-Dub podcast, aka the MWW podcast. What's the third W? Aka the second W? Nobody really knows.
It's like Modern Warfare all over again.
Yeah.
Dude, they made so many Modern Warfares that I lost track.
I just don't understand.
Even named them the same.
Yeah, I don't understand the naming convention of the whole thing. Anyway,
but it's not a remake.
No. And sometimes,
it was.
Well, like I think because sometimes the games get delayed so much that they end up just calling them the same name, which actually reminds me, it seems all too often that we think things are going to come out on time or take the appropriate amount of time. And there is someone in this group of three who constantly gets their time estimations for car building completely, figuratively, not even in the realest way possible, wrong.
It's not me.
And it ain't me.
It's me.
Joes, what the fuck?
I just try to be a little optimistic.
All right, so
yeah.
Obviously, we got a few things going on.
We got a lot of shit going on. We don't got a couple, 2, 3.
So
They're all
time management's important, and scheduling things out is important.
Crucial.
And so it's like, hey, Joes, how long do you think it's going to take to do blank on the car? Yeah. And it's always like, oh, that'll take an hour, or that'll take 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
And granted, we're car enthusiasts. We know better. So I'm like, Giles, how long is it actually going to take? No, that's going to take 20 minutes. It's so easy.
He was so confident yesterday when we were working on the S chassis. He bet money.
Yeah, and the thing is,
no, you did not.
It's not like it takes like 40 minutes or an hour. It takes like multiple days.
It always does.
What's going on, Giles, with working on cars lately? You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, there's like this reoccurring thing that I'm finding with like trying to do shit on like jack stands and ramps and
so it's my tools that are the problem.
And
well, it's not the car because we haven't been dealing with rust really.
Yeah, it's not the car.
Well, actually some of it was the car. It is actually.
Let's talk about So one of the things is like working on the ground is a bummer. Like it makes everything more difficult.
So if you're out there and you have a tool of some kind, like a half car jack that you would like to send our way,
what the hell is a half car jack?
I would happily take it off your hands.
Talk about like an easy jack.
Easy jack.
Quick jack, yeah.
If you're a quick jacker, we could use your products.
Yep. Yeah, so that's one half of it. The other half is this fucking GR86 has been the bane of my existence for the last 2 months.
It's because it's a Subaru. It's the Subaru parts of it that
I think it is. So it's like
I would like to just make a statement on that.
Yeah. What?
I would like to first off say to those people that say the Mark V is only reliable because of Toyota, you are living in a sea of lies because there is no conceivable way Toyota would make that car so reliable and then say fuck all to the GR86 because the GR86 has a continuous mountain of issues that are coming up as these cars are getting driven for their intended purpose. And they're like, oil? Do we really need it when it's under pressure? Do we really need it when we're going uphill when you're trying to go across the corner or hit an apex? No. Detonation.
I don't want to say I told you so.
Yeah, it's just so weird because it's like I didn't have to deal with any. It's so because I had the first gen, I had the FRS. I didn't have to deal with any of these issues.
Well, you did. Just in a different way.
I didn't.
The other engine did. The first generation
if you got it fixed.
Well, yeah, which took how many people complaining and whining until Subaru was finally like, okay, we'll fix it.
Well, you just didn't get it fucking fixed. It was fine.
I complain. We still haven't gotten it fixed.
Either way, like I had my FRS, absolutely loved it. I worked on that car a ton, never had any fucking issues with it. We get to this GR86, I'm expecting like the same thing because it's like the same car, like a little different engine, but like for the most part, same layout, a lot of same parts. And they just like did dumb shit with it. Like we were just trying to like swap out the coolant for water yesterday. On the first generation, there is literally a little service hatch for the radiator to specifically like drain the coolant out. Like there's this whole splash guard. You look under that car, the whole thing's covered with like splash guards and, pans and stuff like that. There's a little hatch. You just peel up. On this one, you got to take the whole fucking underside of the goddamn car off to get to it. Why would they not keep the hatch?
They're adding layers like an onion.
Yeah. Fucking
That doesn't
onion
even
car.
that doesn't even go into the
doesn't go-
72 like little bits and pieces that we've got to yank out. That somehow
Yeah, and they're all pop clips.
they're all pop clips.
Oh
but
my
the
God.
car's not old. Like it doesn't have a ton of miles, and yet somehow they're just as atrocious to get out
Yeah,
as
somehow-
like Becca's
Breaking
M4.
and they're
they're
blowing
all
up.
like dry rotted. They're all breaking. They're all snapped. They're all flying out into the driveway.
The thing is the car driving experience is good.
Yes.
I do enjoy it.
First
The
impressions
power
were awesome
curve,
on the car.
Awesome. It looks fantastic. Love the color. Feels great. But there are these things that I would say when you're looking at like we're at the beginning of this car's life, right? We're buying it relatively new. It's for Torque Motorsport. We're drifting it. Awesome. But like, you know how you look back at cars that are 15 or 20 years old and you're like, yeah, that car was built for like 2 owners and that was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This car does feel like it's a two-car
It's
car,
off
a
to that
two-owner
kind of
car.
start. It's off to that start.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like we did the whole RTV thing, which was really recommended. Definitely recommend you do that because we pulled a shit ton of RTV out of not only the oil pan but the pickup itself on the screen.
Yep.
We pulled a ton of stuff out of that, and even that was like a nightmare to like get at. But that's like one thing, right?
Which
like,
required
that's pretty-
which required a special tool that nobody seemed to know anything about
Yeah.
in an auto parts store. So if you want to make a killing at O'Reilly's or Advance, go invest in what was it
an
called?
oil pan separator.
Yep.
An oil pan
It's
separator.
just meant to like cut through the adhesive and kind of.
Yeah.
And then you pry it out. And yeah, we literally called like 3 stores and we have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Now that could have been a multitude of reasons, but either way, they didn't have a clue what we were talking about. And so we did that. And then like there was just stupid shit. Like we were like, oh, well, the suspension settled a little bit. Looks like we still have to lower the front. All we had to do was lower the brand new coilovers that were in the car.
Feel 441.
Yes. Dakota's like, I'm going to go get started on that. I think you fell for this one. You're like, it's going to take like 10 minutes.
I am guilty of that one.
We literally go to take the driver front wheel off and snap 2 lug studs. Clean off. Like a brand new car.
The car only has 20,000 miles, by the way,
And the lug nuts weren't torqued down because we were working on it yesterday.
in the air.
So we just got them like tight. And then we come back the next day and somehow we didn't cross thread them either. We put each one on by hand and then we were looking it up and it seemed like other people were having issues with the
Specifically
driver's
driver front
side
wheel.
and they're snapping studs.
Yeah, so I don't know what the
So then
hell
we had
is
to go
going on.
replace all 2 studs out too.
I think this is why a lot of people say, I think I've even given this tip to like our audience, which is like, wait a couple years before you buy a new car. Like buy a 2018 as like your newest car because it needs like 3 years to kind of like shake.
Oh, yeah.
out
That's,
some of the-
that's with like a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I would-
and
I'd recommend
we
it.
just
It's weird
we fell
because
for it.
the FRS BRZ platform has been around for a minute now.
Right.
And this was their second iteration. So arguably should have been better and things were fixed.
But it
And
was
it's like
also-
they went backwards.
Yeah, but
Performance-wise,
it was
on
also-
paper, it is.
But it was also designed and released coming out of what happened in 2020.
What?
A lot of supply chain, a lot of
They had
shortages
plenty of
in parts.
RTV.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We
is,
got to
like,
get rid of this shit.
there is a conspiracy out there that I think it really isn't a conspiracy, and it is car manufacturers kept making cars coming out of COVID of 2020, and then as they did, they realized they didn't have the parts they needed to make a better car, so they kept using the same parts and stocked parts from old cars, which is why a lot of people think 2021 and 2022 cars don't feature a lot of new tech. It's a lot of the same, if not older tech, because they couldn't get their hands on it.
How
Do you believe that?
How does that
I think I
affect
do. LeBron's legacy. Don't even say it.
Scotty Kilmer's legacy?
There's so many people in our TikTok comments that are like, these fake car enthusiasts are talking poorly about Scotty Kilmer. It's like, shut the fuck up. You make video game montages and you're 13. Your bio says so. Fuck you. Anyway,
Are 13-year-olds watching Scotty Kilmer?
bro, the one kid, I swear to God, he's on
I
the
do
team,
got a
he's
large demographic.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't even talk shit. I said props
Yeah,
to
I
this dude.
thought we were pretty good about it.
Anyways.
Anyway,
It was confusing.
Hey, do you want to talk about how you spilled oil
okay, so wait,
everywhere,
before
6 liters?
before Gels comes up with another excuse.
twice?
Before Gels
I've
comes up
just
with
been-
another
listen,
excuse about his
Someone's got to work on the
processes.
car. And
There's
sometimes
a
things happen.
difference. There's a difference though between working on your car and hitting the same oil pan like thing storage tote 17 times with your leg and saying, "No, I'm just gonna keep it there."
Oil storage.
And
tank.
then on the 18th
I asked
time,
for someone to move it.
And then on the 18th time, it gets knocked over and goes all over his legs. I could watch and see the oil on the tile.
Okay,
and
back
here's
up,
the
back up, back.
Here's the thing.
We need a backstory to this to
Yeah.
really paint the
Didn't
picture.
even knock it over. This is bullshit. I'm getting lies spread about me on the internet, and I hate it.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so
talk about it.
So we go get prepared for what the hell were we doing on the car? Oh, we were swapping the coolant out.
Yeah.
Somehow
that's-
included oil.
Somehow
That's how
that
it
ended
started.
up to oil. So, yeah. So we have ramps, and they're like the little like GK Tech like little race ramp thing. So they're not very tall.
meant for lowered cars.
They're meant for lower cars. And so I brought those over, and we were gonna get this swapped out, and we needed a drain pan. Well, the only drain pan that was over here was one that we emptied the oil out in when we did the RTV fix, and it was like a shallower pan. So we're like, all right, we need to go get like a big one because we're doing 3 cars. We're swapping coolant out for the drift day.
Yep.
And so we went and bought like a $60 fucking like oil or just like drain pan thing.
It was chonky.
And it was chonky. We get back,
Big.
realize that it doesn't fit under the car on the ramps. We're like, well, shit, let's just empty the oil in the low one into the new big one.
So then we can use the low
we
one
can use the low
to
one.
go under the car without having to jack it up because we can just keep it on the ramp.
Genius idea.
You can
Except-
literally hear both of
big
these guys.
Brain energy.
huge brain. And it would have went fine, except for the fact that the brand new $60 for whatever fucking reason,
Advanced Auto Parts.
yes, drain pan apparently leaks out of the bottom.
It was cracked.
It was cracked.
We didn't know.
Somewhere. It doesn't look
Wait,
cracked.
did
but
we
it's cracked.
buy that yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can we return that?
Yeah.
No, we put oil on.
I would
That
have
was
$60.
$60. That's $60.
That's what I'm
bro.
saying.
Yeah.
It made a
I
fucking
want-
fool out of me.
to record Alex going in really mad and upset and say, I got oil all over my goddamn garage.
I
Yeah,
could
so
do
we
that.
we pour the oil in and we're like sitting there, we're like situating stuff. I like look over and there's just like a pool of oil coming out of the big tub. I'm
This
like,
is-
what the fuck is going on?
This is my favorite video so far of gels.
Jesus, Jones.
It's like a boy with
can,
like a liter of
can you
cola.
show
We will
Yeah,
post
with
it.
like a liter of cola in between his legs.
We will post it on our Instagram if you guys want to go
Yes.
check that out.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah.
post that.
Gels just not.
So yeah,
having a
so
good time.
so we figured out like, okay, there was only so much in there. I'm like, if we position it a certain way
Away from the crack.
away from the crack, that it'll just sit there and it's not gonna leak. We're gonna deal with it later. Well, the best place was up against the box that happened to be right next to the car, and that wasn't even the issue. I didn't even kick. I kicked it once.
You
I
kicked
did
it. You
kick
kicked
once.
it, gels.
I
You kicked it a
kicked
couple times, guy.
Anyways,
It wasn't
Tidal
even-
Wave Part
Alex-
2
wasn't
happened.
even-
Oil everywhere.
It
No.
wasn't
Alex,
Alex.
you looked.
Ow!
You hit that.
Alex.
You
Ow!
hit that multiple times.
Alex, I'm telling you that's not what caused it. What caused it was the faulty breather cap that fucking opened up twice and then let it pour all out again.
I'm gonna be really honest with you. My concrete,
I'm not fucking going down for this.
my concrete slab is now saturated with oil.
It is.
Like, I have to get.
He's not
All
wrong
right,
about
can I
that.
say I got a little bit of a hot take here, and I'm sorry to everyone, but working on cars fucking sucks.
does suck.
Shit goes wrong
Every
every
fucking
time. It doesn't matter if you have the best tool. It doesn't matter if you have a brand new car. It doesn't matter. Something is gonna go wrong.
That's why I love these. I see a lot of people that are building cars and like, I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to build cars. It sounds like a bunch of fun. They're like, I watch Jimmy Oaks. I watch Adam LZ. I watch all these guys, and they're like, it just looks so fun. And I'm like, they have a massive team. They have a bunch of people to help them,
And
and
mechanics.
fabricators and mechanics. You have a $60 fucking jack,
but props
and
to you.
4 jackals. Like,
If you wanna do it,
do it.
100%.
But no. But do not
everything will go
do
wrong.
not get misconstrued that how you see it online is how it goes, because like even we polish it up like
A
even
little bit.
we
Oh, yeah.
will
but
polish
like,
it up.
I like leaving the raw bits. And
Yeah, it's
where we
like
fuck
the
up. I like
third
that.
trip to the parts store to buy a fucking stud installer
Yeah,
tool.
we're not gonna show that.
That's
to
the
adjust the coilovers. It's like, maybe we just don't film this part. Like,
yeah, because nobody wants to see it, but I can promise you
it happens.
it happens all the time and all the time. And it's just, we wish it wouldn't happen with the GR86 because it is a brand new car.
That's
I thought things
the
would
worst.
be different.
I know that,
But
like,
it's a Subaru.
I keep getting my heart broken because it's like I have faith. I want to keep faith. I try to be optimistic. Sometimes it works.
It'll take 15
Most of the time
minutes.
it doesn't.
I guarantee it'll
Every
take
single
15 minutes.
every single
I installed
time
your exhaust in 30 minutes, and I'll never let that down.
And it let itself down because
sun
all the bolts
shines
were
on a
loose.
dog's ass every once in a while.
on the car, and
It was on the car until it moved.
So if you can imagine this on a 2022 GR86, I can only imagine what it's going to be like when we get to work on our upcoming next car. The Z will be easy because it only has 300 miles.
Yeah, well,
But
I think we should
I'm
try to
shocked.
work on it with only rocks and sticks.
but I want to try.
Kind of what it's like already working out of Alex's garage.
I know.
Oh, you guys are so they're so difficult. It's
Team
not that
Napa.
Yeah, dude. Finally,
bad. I'm not even sponsored by them.
he's like guys, I'm gonna go get sponsored by a parts company. I'm like, yeah, dude, go get it. Napa. I'm like,
Get out of here.
Hey,
Get
just
out of
because
here.
their colors are the same as Kraft macaroni and cheese does not mean they're out of the running for a good parts
not
store.
only are the colors the same, but they used to have like the big yellow bars
Yep.
on their side.
It looked like mac and cheese.
it was mac and cheese store.
I love mac and cheese.
I don't even know how to argue.
All right,
against
real
that.
question, real quick. Do you guys, when you're getting mac and cheese, do you get the shells, do you get the regular noodles, or do you get the spirals?
Regular noodles.
I don't eat mac and cheese.
I used to love the
Fuck.
Yeah.
Blue's Clues shaped ones were the best though.
Becca will make shells.
Wait,
every
did you
once
say
in a
you
while.
don't eat mac and
I
cheese?
don't eat mac and cheese.
Yeah, you just brushed over that.
Sorry,
quick.
you got me thinking about Blue's Clues
So,
mac and
do
cheese.
you not like cheese or do you not like noodles?
the mac part?
There's a part of me that is pulled back on the cheese consumption, and mac and cheese has half cheese, so I've pulled back on the digestion.
So,
of mac
but
and
like
cheese.
always, you've never ate mac and cheese?
Well, it's never really been a tool, a weapon in the Martinez family household for food options.
Dude,
so it was
I
just
eat
never
mac
something
and
I wanted to
cheese
eat.
at least once a week.
Do you really?
At least.
Yeah. So like, I would say what
And
I
spirals
eat,
are the best.
What I eat the most common is like chorizo and beans. I'll have that at least once a week.
Why'd you say chorizo like that?
I don't know, because that's how I say it.
Okay, I was just asking. We eat chorizo a lot too. We do the eggs for breakfast.
How often do you do it?
I'd say once every 2 weeks.
Once every 2 weeks. What's the most common food you have in your house?
The most common food in my house?
Yeah, that you eat.
Oh yeah, the most common.
Fucking frozen pizzas and then like
Yeah.
ground chicken. We use ground chicken for a lot of things instead of like beef.
Turkey, ground turkey,
Mm.
which is good. The most common meal. Yeah, frozen pizzas are cheap jacks.
Yeah, we usually do like I would say tacos is like a once a week thing where we use like ground
Yeah,
chicken.
tacos are once a week for us.
Yeah, we do that pretty frequently. We were on a spaghetti kick for a
Yes,
while.
spaghetti and chili we swap out
So
usually
easy to make, and it was
every
good.
week in like the
Taco
winter.
soup is what we make. It's just
Taco
chili,
soup.
chili with a lot of
You made
broth.
taco soup that
All right,
Tacos are
now, how often do we fill up our main cars? I would say RX-8, Supra.
Oh,
What do you drive the most? I know you don't drive. I'm trying to think here. What
he
it
doesn't
would
fill up
even
anything.
be.
We fill it up
The
for him whenever we
Gloria?
have to
Is that
take
what
it
you
somewhere.
drive the most? The Gloria?
Okay, so the last time I filled up a car was the Nissan Z, and that would have been 3 weeks ago, and it was its first fill up. 2 weeks ago, it was its first fill up, and that was $70.
I think Supra I got to do about once a week.
The Ferrari gets filled up literally, I'm not kidding, 3 times a year. It gets filled up like at GAT, at Riverside, and then sometime in
It's
between in the
usually
summer.
every time we leave the cabin to go to the car show, and Alex is like,
I
I'm on
need gas.
fumes, and there's not a gas station nearby.
And then I usually get pulled
Every
over.
fucking time.
I have this ridiculous fear. Like, I'm the type of person, comment if you're like this, because I don't really know anyone else like it. I feel like people make fun of me all the time. If my car is below half tank, I got to go fill up. I got to
That's
go
when
fucking-
we're on road trips, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Because when we get
It's
below
like it
half a
gets-
tank, I'm
dude,
like,
I
I
get
don't know.
I get to a quarter, and it's like we're stopping. We gotta stop.
Okay.
which
yeah,
is
so you're
which
kinda
is
like that
which
too.
is different in the West Coast than it is in the Midwest. Because
Yeah.
let me explain. When you're going through Illinois and you're heading to St. Louis and you get past the first quick trip, that's not the fun quick trip,
don't
it's
have
the
those.
normal
Oh,
quick
yeah.
trip.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
the QU one.
You have no idea when you will see civilization next. Because there's just farm fields to the right,
And a
farm
subway every
fields
now and
to the left, and a shitty subway every 16 miles. I had subway 4 times in 3 days.
That's all that's out
I was
there.
fucking pressed by
so
the end
crazy.
of it. It was disgusting.
Well, what makes it worse is I'm tuned on 93 too. So like when we
Oh,
went
yeah.
to Tennessee originally, I was so fucking nervous that I wasn't gonna find a get because up here they're sparse. Like we have 2
Yeah.
in Appleton, which is a pretty decent sized city for Wisconsin. And there's only 2 stations that are across town from each other that I can get 93. So I was nervous going down. But I came to find out was the South pretty much is all 93. So you lucky bastards get it all.
Yeah, I was like the furthest south we went. I was like, okay, it was easier.
It was literally like every gas
Yeah,
station had it.
So if I were
So yeah, how often do you fill up the RX?
if I were to like daily drive like the RX-8, I would say it at least once a week. I would have to probably like stop again just to top it off before the weekend. Like it is bad. It
Well,
is,
that's the
especially
same-
around town.
the-
It's so bad gas mileage.
The 430 has, I think, bad injectors right now, or has a couple of them.
Sure.
So when it does turn on, it sounds like a tractor, even worse than a normal tractor. They do sound like tractors. When
It's
you start
it's
them
a
up.
cooled tractor.
But I can hear
Lamborghini
like
made
all of the
Ferrari
gas just leaving the tank, and I feel like every time I start it up, I have to be burning way too much gasoline because it's like, this is a 20-gallon fuel tank. This should last a minute, and it doesn't.
One of the days we were working on the GR86, I filled up on my way over here with the RX-8, and we had to run and get a couple things. When I got home, I used over a quarter tank of gas in that day. And that
Really?
was just running around Appleton.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, it would cost me It cost me $70 to fill that fucking tank.
Yeah. So that's why I have a scooter, Segway Super Scooter
That's
GT2.
a motorcycle.
Dude, that thing's so
which you can
fast.
pick up at any of your local retailers or online e-commerce for the low price of $3,000. But
That is insanely.
it's
priced
so
for a scooter.
fast
It is.
and it's so neat.
It
Anyway,
does have a race mode and boost function,
And underglow.
It does.
and I
go
do
fast.
plan on racing
Did
Dakota
you
today.
did you take it out last night with the underglow?
No.
That was really a missed opportunity.
I'm sorry. We're going to take a break.
Yep.
And when we come
We're
back,
back.
what are we talking about?
Favorite flavor of ramen?
No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about car stuff. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're building
Yes.
a car and you are too broke to buy the part and you're thinking to yourself, how did I get here? How did I get this far in the car build and yet ran out of money? I thought I budgeted correctly. Well, today's video is sponsored by nobody, but that's where we would put it if you sponsored this podcast. Anyway,
Looking for sponsors.
we're talking about how do you actually save money when you're building a car? Because I don't think you need to go balls out on every single mod you do to your car. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think there's opportunity to save a little bit of cash on some, and then there's opportunity where you should wait and not impulse buy. Even I know you want to do it. I know you do. But just trust me. Hold out, save a few more bucks, and get the part that'll be nice.
24 hours. 24 hours. You should wait on anything you buy if it's above whatever flat number you decide. If it's
don't
above
think I've
$100,
ever done that.
24 hours.
Thanks, Dad.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to know how to save cash, fast way to do it, you wait 24 hours on anything over $100.
Unless
And
you're
then if
shopping at MartiniWorks.com.
We'll email you. Don't worry.
24 seconds.
We'll drive that shit home.
Literally though, but like, so I was looking at car parts for the Z,
Mm-hmm.
and we're looking at control arms and hoods and intakes and exhausts, and it's like, okay, well, some of this is way pricier than I remember.
new car
Some of it's not. And I was looking at it, it's like, I was looking at aftermarket lower control arms. Some are stamped like steel, and some are just low pressure cast, gravity cast, and then some are forged.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth getting forged, or does it really fucking matter?
Oh, it matters.
Why does it matter?
Unsprung weight.
Unsprung weight. Giles, educate us on what unsprung
Actually,
weight is.
would that even classify as unsprung weight?
Oh, now we're getting weird.
You tested me on it. Now I gotta. Unsprung weight is basically like the weight of like your wheels, your tires, like anything outside of like the chassis, like that.
So you're pretty much looking at the weight, total combined weight that's unsprung from the vehicle chassis. So that's why a lot of people, when you focus on like wheels, tires, suspension components, weight is a really important factor, because the weight is essentially multiplied by the amount of rotational mass, or the weight that's getting transferred.
Right.
I've
into
never
the
really
part.
worried about weight.
Really? I can't tell.
Ever.
That's rude.
I said I can't tell.
Yeah, was that back? Were you,
was kinda
were you being
backhanded.
sarcastic?
What?
Or
That's kinda-
your voice keeps going higher.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Now it went purposely.
Actually,
What do you mean?
no, that stuff does really come into play, like especially when it comes to like moving parts, like your wheels and things like that. Like it how
So you're saying
much
get
energy it
forged
takes
what?
to like get up to speed, how much it takes to brake, how much like movement in your suspension is happening with all of that weight. Like it's all yeah.
But at the same time, it's also important that like you recognize what you maybe don't even have to change. Some people want to go in there and they want to change everything. For instance, I just made the mistake of saying, well, let's go look at some forged lower control arms. Those are 300-mile lower control arms. Do I really need aftermarket? Probably not,
Not for
right?
your first mod.
But for a Nissan Z, I think the biggest thing that you could do is an exhaust and an intake and a tune.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to kind of look at what needs to be done versus what looks the flashiest, because I would also argue that coilovers may not be the best first mod to do to your car if you've got an S chassis that desperately needs new bushings. Right. Because just changing out your bushings can be a night and day difference in how a car feels.
That's true. It depends what you're doing with the car. I'd like to say that, like, I have an interesting one. It's almost like an anomaly for what we're talking about, because, like, I wanted to get a good, like, aero piece, spend the cash, get a nice one. I mean, it's on the outside of your car. You want it to fucking look good. You know, it's not hiding.
Yep.
So I bought a StreetHunter carbon fiber wing. It was one of the most expensive pieces on my car.
Yep.
That thing fit like fucking ass. It was shit. Holy fuck, TJ. The fuck are you doing? My God. So I was like, wow, I got sent a bad one. I started looking into this. Hell no. I got sent a good one. There's way fucking worse than mine out there. Holy shit. I had to have Gels 3D print a shim for my blade so that it would meet up correctly.
Yeah.
We installed it perfectly correct.
there
we did
was
it
like
by the book, everything.
There was like up to like in spots like a 1/4 inch gap where it wouldn't
With it
meet.
fully tightened down. You know what's happening is people aren't making shims. Obviously,
Yeah.
you don't expect them to.
Right.
So they're tightening it down as much as they can.
Ooh, and they're
well,
cracking
over time, it's pulling out all the carbon fiber, like because where that thread, that threaded insert that's in the carbon,
pulls it out.
It's pulling.
Yeah. Well, there's so
and
much
ruining
force on
the
there.
wing. Yeah. And then additionally, the hardware that came with it, absolute fucking dog shit. It rusts out immediately when water gets in it. So I had to go buy fucking $40 worth of stainless steel hardware after already spending like $2,000 on this stupid wing. It looks great. I love how it looks, but my God, the thing was, everyone on the Supra forums is saying, buy the replica. Buy the replica. I've never seen reps supported so much in my life, because people are saying it's half the cost and they fit perfect. So just get the replica. Yeah. It's crazy. So that's a bit of an anomaly. Overall, I would say, like, especially with carbon fiber bits, because we all know how that stuff fits typically. Like, you expect some leniency.
I feel like that's the thing, though. There are certain parts where it seems like no matter how much you spend, there's always an element of fuck around.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially
I would say
body pieces.
I would say that doing the Adro, the ATR wing we did on Becca's car was actually really good. Yeah. You know, we cut where we needed to. We had the mounts.
didn't
Everything
overcut
went
at all.
really well. We overcut a lot.
Not at all.
That was our fault, not Adro's fault. But like outside of maybe some instruction improvements, like to help with some of the pieces, like it went really well. But at the end of the day, you're always cutting into things, adjusting things. Front lips never fit perfectly. Side skirts never fit perfectly. No matter how much you spend.
You got to be comfortable getting out the old, grinding tools and sandpaper and all that kind of stuff, because it's going to happen, especially when it comes to
3D
body
printer.
pieces. 3D printer, yeah.
And it's like, if you're driving your car hard too, and that kind of goes back to like what to spend money on and what not to spend money on. And it's not calling anyone out, but like Dakota, you ran this summer almost entirely without a lip, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to drive your car and go forward and like have fun with the car, right? Now the front lip looks awesome.
Yeah.
But it's also you lose
it's so
60%
fucking
of
low.
your driving function.
It's so low, and it was such an expensive lip that every time I scrape it, I feel terrible.
Whereas if you just get, like a decent piece that you're comfortable with just driving on, or you even get something, dare I say, not carbon fiber, you don't have to worry about it, and you can have fun with it, because there is a threshold at some point with like the mods where it's like, well, now I'm just taking away from the driving experience. My biggest mistake was putting that 430 on air and not fixing it, even though I know I have to fix it. But it's like, dude, if that thing was on coils, 70% of my problems would be fixed.
You drive that
Don't
car so
talk
much more if it was on
shit
coil.
about
Exactly.
air.
That's what I'm saying, and it's not air's fault, right?
No,
a lot of it
it's
is
the
me.
setup
and this
on that
setup
car.
and all- I totally get it. I'm not blaming the air suspension.
No.
I'm blaming a little bit on AccuAir, but that's besides the point.
Well,
They're not here anymore.
They're not here anymore. So, but I think there is that element where you start to it's called like overbuilding, you know, when you overbuild a car.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of people think overbuilding is only when you modify the shit out of it, like the engine to it's undrivable, but you can overdo it just in like aesthetic parts.
Oh, very
like in a
easily.
car
Very
show way.
easily.
A little bit of damage control as I was sitting here pondering and thinking about my expensive wing that doesn't fit.
Yeah, you got TJ and tears.
He
right
did make a V2, so I can't attest to that. And there is actually, they offered, if you bought the StreetHunter V1, a heavy discount on the V2. I don't know if it comes with stainless steel hardware, but I would assume they did that, and they did it so soon because of fitment issues. And that is something to expect. Like I think we've said on other podcasts, don't buy the first of anything because there needs to be improvements. And it was like right as the car came out, so I get It's just the problem that they never like really acknowledged it.
Yeah, that was like the first piece that they made too, wasn't it?
Yeah. So like I get it, but like it was so expensive, and that the fact that these other companies were able to do it for half the price, make the same exact thing, and make it fit, like I would have just liked some sort of like acknowledging and saying, hey, we fucked up, guys, but we're making a V2. We're working on it. It's going to have perfect fitment, and guess what? You're going to get a huge discount if you get the V2.
Why don't you think companies do that more? Because that happens a lot.
I think some of them are just. I'm not saying this is what they did, but a lot of them, you know, it's scary to accept that blame because then it's like, okay, now what are you going to do about it? Like, I want my money back or I want my discount.
Yeah,
so it's
that's
like,
true.
It's better to just like what they did.
Handle
like,
it
here's
as
the
is.
V2.
Yeah, they probably just don't
it
want
was
a
like, you know, a couple years later, but here's a V2. We're going to give you a good discount on it. Like the solution is here now versus coming up like, hey, we fucked up and then like working on a solution.
Man, I appreciate that so much when a company, a brand, or a person can just
100%.
accept something that went wrong, that wasn't the way they intended. It happens to everybody. The mistakes happen. Shit happens. Just be upfront about it. I've never ever understood the coming off as perfect because no one and nothing is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the part of like when you push the envelope, you're making something new. You're trying to do something different. If it was like everybody else, you probably wouldn't have those issues to begin with. So it's like, yeah. But going back to building on a budget, try to really figure out like what the key thing is that you want to do with your car. I think is like how you start the process. So then if you start building a list, you ask yourself, is this directly improving that? Or is this, you know, like something flashy on the side that would be cool?
Yeah, and it comes down to like the priorities. Like, what do you want? Like you said, to use the car for. What do you want done with the car for? You know, so it's like focus on a few pieces that you know, like you would need to get what you want done.
I think the drifters got that shit on lock.
Yeah,
I feel like they're like the best ones in.
But like a lot of people fall for that too. Or like, oh no, I need the crazy angle kit. I need the wide body.
Oh, sure.
I need the dual caliper setup. And it's like, no, you need. If anything, like maybe coilovers, if you want, you can go slide a stock like height car. It's gonna roll a little bit, but it's like, maybe some coilovers, like some spare set of wheels, and then we were watching someone that recommended like just a good seat to hold you in place.
That was Chris Forsberg.
Chris Forsberg, yeah.
the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Forsberg. We were talking to him, and we were like, what's the number one tip you would give to somebody jumping into drifting? Because it's a growing sport. More people are doing it every single day. And like he was very, very honest when he's like, fuck overbuilding your car. Yeah. Stop doing that. That's the dumbest shit I ever seen before. Like we were sitting in the same exact spot that 20 years ago he was sliding an S chassis around with like Ryan Turk and Vaughn Gittin Jr. and saying, just get a good seat, get a car that can drift, and get seat time. Yeah. Like just start there.
The seat is very underrated. I got just like stock S14 seats in my car. I get thrown all, even with like the harness and stuff. Like I get thrown all over, and I get like my legs.
Show me what it looks like.
It's like
don't
take a left turn, we're gonna take a right turn. But it's like I'm like bracing myself up against like other parts.
I
of
got
the car.
a bruise last time I did that.
Yeah, because the Glory's got the stock seats in it too, and that's like a luxury car. So
I just don't think I can
definitely
change out
not
the seats.
like the support that
change
you
out
need.
a seat.
Yeah, I might. I'll change out a seat. I wanted to get through a season and be like, this is a sport I really want to get
beat the shit
into.
out of you.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's like I don't. That's the same thing too, though. It's like everybody they get one event. They do one drift event, track event, autocross, and like this is it, and they go fucking balls in, and then they do it maybe one more time, and then they stop, and they've essentially overbuilt their car because now they got this race seat that they were going to use a ton. They've used it once. Now it's in their daily driving car. It fits like ass. It's hard to get in, hard to get out.
Uncomfortable.
So I wanted to say, let's get a couple events in the Gloria, make sure that that's a car I want to keep, and then if it is, I'll buy a seat and make sure that that's what I want to do, Absolutely. So that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, no, I think you can fall for it for anything. You can fall for it for drifting. You can fall for it for show cars, like Dakota said. You can fall for anything. You can just, you can really easily get into like the holy shit, what did I do to my car? After you take the step back and are like,
Mods
really
don't always make it better. They don't.
Yeah, and it comes back to that conversation we had like when we were younger. It's like, well, we just wanted to mod shit for the sake of modding shit. I don't, doesn't care if it's cohesive. I don't care if it makes sense, but I can work on the car and it's something to install.
If you want to be a cool ass kid, be an 18-year-old with a really modest looking car that can outdrive everyone.
Yeah,
that's a good ass bragging right when you're at a drift event or an autocross and you're just slaying something that just looks stock. You know what I mean? Because you got the seat time. The seat time is super important. I would say
What if I want to slam it on the fucking ground though?
Then do that.
Make
and
it
do
look
that,
dope.
but then do that, the right way.
Okay. All right.
You know, don't just
just
try
checking.
everything.
I still really like lowered cars. I
Dude,
have
lowered cars look awesome. Your car on Fortunatos with the lip has got to be one of my favorite looking Supras ever.
Thank you. I'm gonna say the R word on the podcast.
What?
The R word. I'm sorry. So if we gotta bleep it, but I need to raise it. I need to raise the car because
Disgusting.
it is disgusting. I know. I'm sorry.
Please set down your microphone.
No,
Gels-
I think if I raise it a little bit,
Security.
my rear
Security.
is set a little bit lower than my front, which bothers me already. I love the fitment though; it looks sick. But just for a little more functionality, I think I'm gonna raise it, and then I'm gonna put the lip on and different wheels, and just kind of have a little more of a functional stance rather than the slam.
It does rub a little bit in the rear, doesn't it?
If I get on it and I'm hitting a little bit of bumps or something, it does. But it depends.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Like for how low it is, it really isn't bad. No. But that's why I think if I just raise it up just a bit,
just a touch,
then I can keep the lip on.
Just
and
a
stuff
smidgen.
like that. Because I was able to get around pretty dang well with the lip at its current height.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was just like the longer trips, unknown terrain.
Yeah, that's what
bumps
really,
that was like.
And there was sometimes like I popped the lip off a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
That sucks.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna have a little chit chat.
Yep, about our favorite flavor of ramen.
We're not doing that again.
Why are you always getting up?
Because I get up to get down.
All right.
What happened to the days of cars and coffee?
What happened to it?
You know?
What do you mean?
I think, Giles, you said this right off the old microphone. You're like, it going from cars and coffee to beers and
brunch.
beer.
Beaters and brunch.
So we were actually just talking about this.
I said it like 5 seconds ago and he forgot.
Yeah, it went in one ear and out the other. It wasn't that important. But anyway, we were talking about how sometimes things are like perfect events, perfect
But
mods,
they don't
perfect price.
stay perfect.
But they don't stay perfect. They're like a cookie that comes out of the oven. It's like just the right temp, and then the next day you leave it out, and it's just a fucking disc.
Rock.
You know what I mean? And we're talking about how cars and coffee can sometimes maybe feel like that. I know up here in Wisconsin we had a Lake Mills one. Dakota, you want to talk about that? Because that one was like,
oh my God.
that was top tier actual cars and coffee certified.
Yeah, and I feel like I stumbled upon it on accident, and that's why I think it was so special for me too. It was the first Cars and Coffee I ever went to, and I went when I was like 18, 19 was when I started going to it, and you go to this little town called Lake Mills, and you could only take like county roads to get there. So it was always a fun drive too. You have to wake up early as shit to get there. I'm driving on all these back roads, seeing the sun come up, beautiful. And then you get there, and it's not a lot of people, but the quality of people and cars that are there is insane. I remember one time driving up, and there's a Ferrari F40 parked there. And for that to be in Wisconsin at any type of car event is just a showstopper immediately. And like when the R35s came out, there's always like a pair of R35s there. And it was just,
What time did that event start?
man, I think it started at like 7.
I think most roll-ins for cars and
6:30,
coffees are
7?
like 6:30.
It was, it was early.
If you see a cars and coffee and it starts at 9, it's not a fucking cars and coffee. That's as simple as that. Like, I do feel like everybody slaps cars and coffee on everything nowadays, and it, like, I think maybe sometimes hurts it a little bit because I think it's an actual organization, Cars and Coffee, isn't it?
I think it's so. Yeah, I think it was like an actual
because it has like a
branded thing.
certified.
I didn't know
like,
that.
Yeah, it has like certified events that it actually is.
Certified Hood Classic.
Which is a good thing because when you start naming everything the same, I do think that sometimes the quality does start to lower, and people think that it's the same thing in Lake Mills as it could be in Chippewa Falls.
Right. It's
And
like,
it's not.
man, I went to this one and there were
This
F40s and GTRs, and this one was just a bunch of Civics and like clapped out cars.
You can usually tell if it's a good Cars and Coffee. Number one, the one in Lake Mills looked iconic. Like it
did.
had the stone, like
It was all really
exposed
old
brick,
buildings
the
and
old buildings. Like it was in an environment where Cars and Coffee should be.
There's also a coffee shop.
You also know that it's going to be a good Cars and Coffee when you go out onto the Cars and Coffee Facebook page for that area and everybody is bitching about not being able to get in. That's how you know you're at a good Cars and Coffee, because when they fill up, because it's not a paid
I
thing,
fill up.
you got to stop.
Okay.
When you have that and you got that entire thing like completely locked in and you got people complaining about it after the fact, that's how you know you got a good Cars and Coffee.
Sorry, I try to give ad libs like hype you up and like get you
Stop.
going, and
Stop.
you just can't
Stop talking.
handle the energy. That's I guess it's not my fault. I'm sorry
So,
for you.
so what do you think has happened? You're saying like, do you think they peaked? Do you think they've died out?
I
Like,
think shit gets too popular, and it's by no fault of anyone. When stuff picks up, and your friend, when I tell you something's really cool, or you tell me something's really, I want to check it out. They're gonna come. They're gonna tell their friends. They're gonna tell their friends. You know, it's bound to happen, and that's the problem though too. Is it gets too exciting. Too many people.
H2OI was that too. You know,
People
H2OI was
ruin
perfect.
shit.
And I worry that Gatlinburg is going to be next.
Yeah.
I do worry about that.
It's inevitable. It will happen. The videos that come out online hyping it up, and it's like
There's like a guy
it's
on
a good
TikTok.
bad problem.
Yeah, there's like a guy on TikTok talking about like
He had like a
What to
400
expect at
He had like a
Gatlinburg or whatever.
400-part series for that.
yeah, he never stopped talking about it. It was like, no, like it's good. Love the hype, love the energy, but like the people that I really worry about of that weekend, it's not Gatlinburg first. I worry about like the pre-meet. I worry about Vaded Mob. I worry about like Josh and those guys, because those are the guys that are going to get shut down first.
Absolutely.
100%. Because the moment somebody does something stupid on the street, or there's traffic going on the road, somebody gets hit, or somebody runs away from the cops, they're going to shut the whole pre-meet down. And then what's going to happen? They're going to all go on the street because there's nothing else to do on that night. And it's going to turn exactly into what the Dells turned into, exactly what H2I turned into. And then eventually cops are going to start getting pissy about
The
it.
thing is, it's like we're not by any means saying don't go. That's not the message. 'cause
correct.
More
if you
people
go-
going is good for the event. It's good for the community. It's good for
Good for
everything.
everyone.
It's just
Just be fucking respectful.
it's
And we'll
really-
be there.
And we sound like such boomers, and it's such a overplayed thing to say. But like, if you can just go and not break the law, it could be a really
Or if you break
cool-
the law, just own up to it when a cop pulls you over.
Or
'cause
do it
it's-
away
it's-
from the
it's
event.
Okay, it's okay. I've done it. You're gonna probably
What'd you
do it too. You speed a little bit every once in a while on a back road.
Hey,
Come
did you
over a
get
corner.
ticketed at Gatlinburg?
I did, but that was different.
Oh,
Take
yeah.
over. He did it.
It was like a 4 or 5 lane road, and I thought it was a 45,
There's no
and it was a
4 or 5 lane
25.
roads in Gatlinburg.
You want to bet? I will find one in 30
no,
seconds,
that's
right
not
next
what
to
we're
the
doing. That's
Dolly
not what we're
Parton Google Maps.
Dolly Parton is fucking everywhere in Tennessee, and
I
it
know,
pisses
and
me
the
off.
goddamn the road is like 4 or 5 lanes to get into Dolly Parton World or whatever. it's
Dolly
called.
Parton World,
Dolly
Dolly
World
Parton
has
Lane,
4
Dolly
lanes.
Parton Restaurant,
Why were
Dolly
you-
Parton Clothes.
Why were you speeding the Ferrari through Dolly World?
Because I was going to get gas.
Were you trying to see Dolly?
No, I was going to get gas.
Were you trying
To
to
be
see
fair,
Miss
wasn't it
Parton?
like really early in the morning? You're
It
pretty
was.
much like by
It was
yourself.
literally just me. I still have the picture. The cop was so nice.
See, you're the problem.
Yeah, obviously. No, the problem would have been if I ran, which I couldn't have
Yeah.
done. But the problem would have been if I ran. All
you're
I'm
out of
saying
gas.
is that you gotta, it's. I think sometimes what makes the conversation like what we just talked about so boring is because we assume that nobody's gonna ever do something stupid or illegal or fun. And it's like you're gonna do some stupid, illegal, fun stuff. We're not condoning it, but we're human. We understand.
Yeah.
The goal here is that if you do, which you shouldn't do in a large group of people, period, if you get caught or if you get in trouble or if you get pulled over, you just own it. Just own it. Just get the fucking ticket, move on with your life, and just take the $250 hit on the chin and say that it was worth the 6-second video you got of you doing a burnout in the backcountry roads. But don't run away from the cops. Like, don't start smashing into to buildings and things. Like, don't get drunk and drive. Don't do that stupid stuff, because that's where you'll ruin it for other people. It's as simple as that.
Well said. Yeah. But this is it happens with like everything, right? Your car parts, your car shows, your car meets, your car models, like they all like get to a point and then they go too far with it. But I mean, it's just inevitable. It's gonna happen. That's what I'm like saying. Like, I'm not necessarily telling people don't do it. It's not like I'm like, man, censors all these people here. I don't like this anymore. I don't give a shit.
But there
about
are plenty of those people out there as well.
and
Yeah,
maybe
it's not about that though, right? I
oh
mean,
my god, it is fucking downpouring, and I rode my Grom today.
Oh, I see
there she is.
crying out there.
Yeah. In the arms of an angel.
All right.
It said it wasn't gonna rain today.
Yeah, it says that in St. Louis too. I mean, we almost got taken by a fucking Cat 3 hurricane.
Yeah, that was wild.
Anyway, if you're gonna go to those
St.
things,
Louis?
those big ones, have fun. Do your thing, party it up at your cabin. But like, don't fucking ruin it for everyone else, which is gonna happen. It's only a matter of time.
I'd give it a few years.
Yeah, because this past year was its peak. We've talked about this before, but this past year it was busy. I mean, it was.
I remember the last year that we went, I think it was a couple years ago. like the pre-meet and stuff. It was held, I think, at like one of the original locations, but like the traffic got so backed up.
Yeah.
And that was causing issues. And there was like a fight that broke out at the pre-meet and the cops got called. And like that's where it just gets messy.
Those little things.
And it doesn't need to happen. And it just adds up into one thing. And eventually it's gonna pop.
You know, like how you see those videos on like TikTok and stuff, like one person on a plane is just absolutely acting a fool and looking like an idiot.
Yeah.
And then the entire plane has to stop what it's doing. You know, like maybe someone's acting a fool like that. And they have to like deboard the plane because this one person is acting like an idiot. That is the equivalent of you doing something at a car show. Like everything has to stop because you wanted the attention for 15 seconds. And I promise you, no one there thinks you're cool. No one likes what you're doing. It's not worth it, Alex. It's not worth it.
I know. My wife has called twice.
All right.
Hello? I know. I already told him I'm going to be 10 minutes late. Okay, bye.
Ooh, you got yelled at.
Yeah.
You got yelled
I'm in
at.
trouble.
She was like standing by the door for like a few minutes. Like, are you gonna fucking like?
I know.
Are you going to take the scooter?
I know. No.
Why?
I know. Contrary to popular belief. I know. Anyway, we are moving.
You should
forward.
definitely take the scooter.
I'm not taking this. Can I take the Grom?
No.
I feel like I could go fast enough the rain wouldn't touch
The
me.
scooter is faster than the Grum.
That is
No,
true.
unconfirmed.
Yeah.
Top speed, I know it's not because I wrote it.
I will say Gatlinburg is going to be a fun one this year. We're going to be there. MartiniWorks is going to be there. It is quite the expensive event to vendor
Yeah, it is.
per square foot. It's actually, I think last time I did the math, it was at the same cost, if not slightly more expensive than SEMA.
That's crazy.
Wow, that's crazy
That
to think
is
about.
nuts. That is
but
nuts.
SEMA has 4 days. Gatlinburg's only 2. So I guess if you're divided by time, maybe it'd be,
Yeah,
cheaper.
but still, it's still a crazy comparison.
Yeah, because I'm cheap. And so I did the math and I was like, oh my God. So hopefully we're going to have a banging setup.
Yeah, so come buy a shirt.
Yeah, please come say hi. Otherwise,
It is
that's a whole 240.
one of my favorite events of the year. The location, the cars,
The people.
the people, everything is so good. It is an awesome show.
Super crazy place to hold an event like that, and it's such a fun place to go drive and bring the cars out. Crazy place for photo shoots. It's nuts. It's all.
I'd love to see another one where maybe like more in the
North Korea.
northwest. I think would be really cool because then you get like the mountains and the rain and all like that fun like Pacific Northwest
Pyongyang.
color.
Didn't they used to have one out in Seattle?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Seattle. What was it called? It was
Was it Tuner Evo? No, it was
there's a big show out in Seattle. And it's a
God,
big
I'm
deal.
totally
And
blanking
we've been
on it.
told to go to it many times. I've watched
Well-
Crispy made a video on a couple of them.
Shit. Hi, Scar.
So yeah, we should check that out.
Yeah, we should. Well, with that being said, before I actually get a limb removed from here, we're going to call her quits the end of this video, and we're going to see you on the next one.
Oh, perfect. Now I can title the video, We're Calling It Quits.
Thank you,
we're gonna
Scotty
continue
Kilmer,
titling our
for
videos like that.
Also,
Thank you-
spicy beef is the best flavor of ramen.
chicken.
No.
Yes, absolutely.
No.
Yes, chicken.
Gels?
Amazon's here.
Gels. No. Ramen.
They're definitely stopping.
Was it
for
like
me.
the? It's like the spicy miso one that you can get like in the tub.
Yeah.
It's like the pork, spicy miso pork or something like that. I don't know. That one's
Okay,
really
we all
good.
picked different ones.
All right, well,
Spicy beef.
chicken.
Subscribe. See you on the
MartiniWorks.
next- Comment your favorite car show.